Welcome back to All Chat Episode 5. My name is Jack Dawes. I'm joined by Grayson Yada this week, as every week. How you doing, Grayson?
I'm great. How are you doing, Jack?
I'm good. I'm excited to talk about some League of Legends, just like
Oh,
we
yeah.
do every week. And there's no real LCK or LPL today, so we got a lot of LEC and LCS to talk about.
Yeah. They're on that Lunar New Year break, so I got to watch a lot more LEC and LCS this week.
There you go. Maybe it'll be a shorter episode today. Maybe we'll get more in depth. Let's just see what happens.
Yeah, we got to start right with the LEC because
Okay.
we're just right in the thick of that right now, and we got the Winter Finals coming up here.
Yeah. So here's my question to you, starting
Yeah.
off. How did this week go compared to your expectations? Are these like the last four teams you thought we were going to end with? Did you think that there was some major upsets? How are you feeling about where we are versus where we started?
I honestly, after watching a lot more of these games, I think I'm pretty satisfied with who came out as the Final Four here.
Yeah.
I thought Mad Koi definitely exceeded my expectations. They look solid. They just look like a complete team to me. And
they're my goats, bro.
yeah.
I love this team. I don't know what it is. They're like a budget G2.
Uh-huh.
You know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they do these like super weird picks. They have like Mirwin, who continues to pull out. I think he played an ADTF top game this week. He had the Varus game. He had the Fiddlesticks game. Like they're willing to pull out these like super weird picks. And even Frescowi really showed up this week. So these guys are just absolutely my goats.
Yeah, I remember you were talking to me about Mad, and you're saying, oh, it's Supa, and it's, oh my gosh,
Alvaro.
what's his name? Alvaro. No,
and Elyoya?
Elyoya, yeah.
Yeah.
It was like the Elyoya Alvaro show.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought all the players on the team looked really good. Like,
I know.
Frescowi and Mirren, they look really good.
They do. Coming into the split, it really felt like it was just Elyoya or bust. Like he either gets ahead or the team loses. And then it kind of transferred into this period where I was like, okay, it's really Elyoya and Alvaro making plays happen. And then I was like, okay, wait, Supa did get that pentakill. He is kind of the GOAT. Like maybe he's in there too. And then I was like, okay, wait, Mirwin's got these picks too. Like maybe he's pretty good. But I was like pretty down on Frescowi for a long time. And then I thought he just smashed it this weekend, especially in his games against, what were the most recent ones against?
They
Vitality?
played
He just smurfed on Vitality.
Yeah, he looked really good on Talia.
He did. His Talia game was nuts.
Yeah. I mean, he was cutting guys off super well with his Weaver's Wall, I want to say is the name of the ability. And yeah, he's cutting the Vitality guys off really well and just setting the whole team up, which I thought was huge for that team.
I was really impressed. I thought the game 2 Kai'Sa game that he played, first of all, cool that he pulled out the Kai'Sa, because usually I feel like that's usually a Vithio pick, actually, which is pretty funny. It was cool to see him pull out something different like that. I didn't think it was terribly impactful. He had one triple kill like right at the end of the game, but other than that, it didn't feel like he was doing that much. But in the first game, it was kind of just a highlight reel for him.
Yeah, for sure. Him and Miron kind of took over that first game.
Yeah. The TF Talia game.
Yeah, because I thought Mirwin's teleports were super good in that game too. Like they were finding picks off of the Talia wall and then the TFR. And like that was pretty much the name of the game for them in that first one. Also, Hilla was in peak form.
Okay, now that you've brought that up, I want to tell you something about that real quick, just because I had to pull stats for that. So first thing is I took a note of every single death that he had over the 2 games in the Vitality versus MDK series. Do you want to take a guess at his overall stat line, or you want me to just tell you?
I know he was like 1 in 10 in that first game on set. And then, I don't know, he played Rakan the second game, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't as bad the second game.
It wasn't as bad, but I want to say he probably finished like 1 in 17 probably with some assists thrown in there.
That's pretty close. So over 2 games, Hillisang was 1, 15, and 12.
Okay.
So he had less. What is that's less than a 1 KD.
Yeah.
And he was 1 in 11 that first game.
Yeah.
So I might throw together a little mini montage of every Hilly death from the weekend, because he was running it.
Yeah, he's just getting caught out everywhere, clearing wars. I thought he was looking okay at the start of that first game. Like he was baiting guys in and then using that set W.
Yeah.
But after that, he was just getting picked off left and right.
He almost had something in that like early laning fight at like the start of game 1 where I think it was like a 2v3 or something like that, and he almost turned it around with that set W like you're talking about, but it didn't work out, and then it was just all downhill from there. Then he just turned into a support set running around the map with no items, and it just would insta die if anyone even looked at him.
Yeah, that was a tough match for Hylissang, but I was on Twitter after, and people were like, "Is this guy match fixing? Like, what's going on?" He ints so much it doesn't even matter. Like, no one's gonna bat an eye.
Sometimes Hylissang is just the craziest inter I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was like my first really experience crazy. Of it, and
really?
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, the interesting thing too, comparing him to Alvaro on Mad Koi, I thought that Alvaro's Nautilus in game 1 hit so different. It was just wild. Like, first of all, comparing the two, but also Alvaro's Nautilus is so like confident. Like he walks up in the lane and like walks up in fights like he knows that he's the one who's going to set it up and like make the play for the team. Like he stands in front of Supa the whole time. It's almost like he just knows that he's just going to start spoon feeding kills to Supa. There's something about his Nautilus that's like so like cocky almost, but like but it works. You know, he was a monster on the pick in the first game.
I definitely think like he trusts Supa, and it goes both ways, because I thought Supa looked really solid, but he didn't like stand out at all, if that makes sense. He just never had any bad plays, and he just did his job, I guess. That's like kind of what I took away from it, and I didn't even think like, oh yeah, Alvaro's the one enabling that. But now that you bring that up, yeah, like Supa was definitely doing so well because of Alvaro, and
that's how I feel. I think Supa is a good player. I think he will be, if he continues to get opportunities in the LEC, I think he'll be a top ADC. But I give a lot of credit in this team to Alvaro for like the bot lane success. When I watch him in fights, he's just like so confident in a way that's like just different than other support players. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's really cool to watch.
Yeah, I mean, League is a game of microseconds, right? And so that confidence and decisiveness is huge. Like, especially when you are the engaged support trying to set up team fights.
Yeah.
I mean, that's huge. And then, I mean, Mirwin, that guy's an absolute Chad, bro.
The TF and the Jace.
Yeah.
Everyone's out here picking Udyr and Gnar, and he's like, nah. I got TF.
Not for me.
Not for me.
And I think it's awesome that this team, 4 rookies, like they were a team before, right? Like they were in a lower league, and so they just brought their whole team over. But that chemistry and that teamwork is just unmatched right now, I think, at least in these games.
Yeah, that's actually something interesting that I was just seeing some discussion about today, actually, was people saying that the reason that 4 rookies, like you wouldn't expect 4 rookies to ever work on an LEC team. It just seems like not enough experience. But people are saying the reason that this team works where other teams with a lot of rookies don't work is that they're not bringing up 4 rookies. They're bringing up basically a whole team from a lower division and then sticking Elyoya in it. So that I thought was like a really interesting way of looking at it, is it's not just like random 4 rookies plus Elyoya. It's kind of this lower division team getting brought up plus Elyoya, you know?
Yeah.
And I think you can tell how much of a difference that makes in their trust for each other and like the ability for them to play on the same page.
Yeah, because a lot of the things that I was seeing too was comparing them to KC.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, KC didn't exactly do the same thing, but I know that because they were in a lower division and they got brought up. And they actually got brought up, you know? Like, they were basically just saying how a lot of the pieces changed when they got brought up. And it wasn't like they kept everyone together. Like, I think they changed their coaching staff, things like that. I don't know the exact details, but yeah, they're just kind of comparing the two teams because they have similar paths, I guess. You know?
That's an interesting comparison because KC, you're right, they came up and they kept 3 of the same players. So Mad Koi kept 4, but KC they kept their top laner, mid, and support, right?
Okay.
Yeah, because they kept Yeah, they kept all 3 of them. So they swapped in Bo for jungle and Upset for AD carry because their AD carry isn't old enough to play, and I don't remember what was up with the jungler, but they just raised the age in LEC. You have to be 18 now, I think. I think it was that, and I think the AD carry that they were playing with was 17. Not quite old enough to come into the LEC. But that is interesting that they came in with 3 of 5, and Mad Koi came in with 4 of 5, and the difference in their performance is astronomically different.
yeah. We got one team in the top 4 and one team completely out of playoffs. So
yeah, not even making top 8.
Yeah, it's kind of cool to see those parallels and just how different teams kind of react to the big stage, you know?
Yeah.
And how
so credit to Mad Koi, honestly. And they're such a fun team to watch. I love me some G2. It's hard not to love G2, but I think Mad Koi might be my favorite team right now. They're just so fun to watch.
They are super fun to watch. I really enjoyed watching those guys play because I really haven't gotten to see them too much aside from what you've been talking about.
Yeah.
They look legit too. I think they have a really good chance of, turning some heads.
Yeah.
Potentially pulling off an upset here against Fnatic.
Okay. Here's the question now. We have Fnatic versus Mad. The winner of that game plays BDS in the lower bracket finals. And then the winner of that game, BDS versus either Fnatic or Mad, goes on to play G2 in the grand finals.
Yeah.
I want you to live on the spot give me your prediction for the rest of the bracket, the last 3 games.
Okay. Well, I think Fnatic, they're just like a staple team, like that's the way I see them. And so I think Mad might be riding this hot streak. So I could see Mad beating them 2-1, losing to BDS, and then BDS loses to G2 in the final.
Yeah.
I think that's how it's going to go. But I don't know as much about the LEC. So those are just my thoughts based on what I've seen. I definitely think G2 is they're kind of miles above everybody else, which is normal for the LEC, I think.
Dude, it's crazy though, because we were just talking about how good BDS was. We were like, oh, BDS are legit. Like, these guys are the real deal. And then they got absolutely smoked 3-0 in the upper bracket. I think this is my take on it. G2 is like here. BDS is like here, and then Mad and Fnatic are like down here. So I think it's going to be, it's really tough for me because Fnatic and Mad already played, and Fnatic beat them 2-0, but it was like a dirty 2-0, like a real back and forth. And I think Mad beat Fnatic during the regular season. So it's like not super clear which way it's going to go. And also Fnatic did not look good against SK. I want to talk to you about this Fnatic SK series.
Yes.
That was something.
It was the most scrappy series I've ever seen.
Yeah. Here, Irrelevant is the only player that deserved to win that series, and he didn't win.
I know. It was heartbreaking for him.
He carried
Rumble
so hard. Yeah. His first game and his third game were insane. The second game was just a low kill game, but he was just piss smurfing the entire series.
Yeah. Agreed. I thought he looked super good the whole series, especially in that game 3 to start. That first 15 minutes, they couldn't use him as a win con, which was sad. They had like the most fed Rumble like you could possibly ask for.
Even in the first game, like, I don't know, just in the whole series, it felt like Irrelevant was just like in it to win it. He was like, we're going, like, we're gonna be top 4, we're gonna make it happen. And then the rest of his team was just like, nah. We're good. It felt like if Irrelevant was playing like he did for most of the split, which I don't think he was playing like week 1 Irrelevant, because I don't know if you remember, but in week 1 I thought Irrelevant was going to be like the best top laner in the league. He came out swinging. SK was 3-0. He looked like a monster. And in the middle of the split, week 2 and 3, I was like, okay, he was just on something that first week. He's actually not that good. But then he came into this playoff series with like that same kind of style, the same kind of like, I'm going to carry this game kind of attitude. And it felt like if he was playing at the level he had in week 2 and week 3, I think Fnatic would have easy 2-0'd that series. But what ended up happening was he played super good, and he was like trying to drag SK's body across the finish line.
Pretty much.
Fnatic as a 5-man team were able to just like marginally play better than the like 4 other players on SK who were all just, I don't know what they were doing. I don't know what Niski was doing all of the series.
Yeah.
I was a disaster, but it
His
just felt
TP.
like, yeah, the 2-inch TP, like,
yeah.
it felt like Fnatic was able to just play better than the other 4 players, and Irrelevant couldn't solo carry the whole series together. Mess of a series.
Yeah, it was a super messy series. I thought Fnatic was able to actually capitalize on their win conditions and try to take that to win a game. I mean, they knew, like, especially in game 3, I think there's a team fight near the end of the game around Dragon, and like they know that they have to kill Irrelevant, and they know that Noah and Humanoid have to carry. And they just picked off Irrelevant, and there's nothing that SK could do, and that basically won the entire series.
Yeah, I thought Noah had a. If I'm going to give any credit to a player on Fnatic, which I don't really want to do, but I feel like we should, I thought Noah had a decent series, especially in the game 3. I thought Noah's Ezreal in game 3 was like pretty much one of the reasons Fnatic was able to do damage in that game at all.
Yeah, I also thought June looked pretty good too. He had some pretty big Ash arrows in that game to find those picks.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
They played that 2 games in a row, didn't they? They played the Ezreal Ash. Yeah, both of their last 2 games.
Yeah, because in that second game, they had that one play mid where they caught the Ash arrow, and it was just Ash arrow, Ezreal ult, someone, and then Xin Zhao came in for the kill, and I was like, what are you going to do there, Niski?
Yeah, it just full CC chain from like a screen away.
Yeah,
yeah. You just throw your hands up, you're like, okay. Right.
Yeah.
How broken did Karma look in game 2, though? I think that champ is stupid.
Dude, with the Malignance, it's like the enhanced R, or like the enhanced abilities, plus the Malignance. Those enhanced Qs are so broken.
Karma just one-shots your entire backline and then also gives like double the health of like in shields to your entire team in one team fight. It's like, how do you play the game?
Karma can also just root people too within team fights, which is, you know, it's crazy her kit, especially with Malignance now. I think Malignance has been one of my favorite items. They have Earth right now going on, so I've been playing that a little bit.
I haven't been playing League. Have you played Karma at all?
I didn't play Karma, but I've been playing like Corki. Like I was trying out that Corki with Malignance and stuff. It's so broken. I get why they play it on stage.
It's such a cool item. I haven't like kept up with the items as much as I should have, but I looked up Malignance on purpose because they kept talking about it. Pretty cool item. Like it gives like the AoE damage over time for like the entire length of the ability on the ground, right?
Yeah, it's like it's basically like Leandri's, but on the ground. It's
that's wild.
Yeah, like I'm trying to think of an ability that it's like an Anivia R. But it's in a smaller space. Yeah, and it only triggers once you hit a champion. But like for guys like Cork and guys like Karma who can use their R all the time, like it could even be good on Jace. Well, I don't know if it would proc with Jace. But like with Karma,
does it only work on ults or is it any ability?
It only works on ults. So that's why I think probably Karma. Well, Karma for sure, and then Corki is another one. But yeah, that item it's super cool. I don't know how pros think of it, but
yeah, it's a cool looking item at least.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, the Karma mid, we're seeing that more and more for sure because of Malignance, I think.
Yeah,
and just because of her kit.
I think Karma just got some buffs too. I think so. It's just kind of everywhere, but. Yeah, I thought that Fnatic SK series was a mess, and I've lost faith in Fnatic because SK really should have won that series. Like even in game 3, it felt like SK was going to win again until Fnatic just like pulled the win out. So I think Fnatic versus Mad is going to be another really entertaining series. I've said that every time that they play, but I think it's going to be a super entertaining series. I still think that Fnatic is going to win it, but I really think that like there's a better chance this time that Mad beats Fnatic than there was last time. I think it's going to be a close series again, but you know, either way, it's going to be Fnatic or Mad. It doesn't matter though because BDS is just going to 3-0 them. I'm pretty sure BDS just 3-0s whatever team they play against, and then I'm 100% sure that it does not matter who faces G2 in the finals. It is a fast 3-0.
Yeah, I agree there. I think BDS is definitely going to be the team that makes it to the winter final and faces G2. It's just a matter of who's going to be playing BDS and who. It's like a race for third place. I feel like because I think BDS is going to beat whoever comes out of Mad and Fnatic, and then G2 is just going to stop BDS again. But who knows? I'm down to get proven wrong. So
me too. I would love to see. I mean, if you had Fnatic in the finals, we got to see El Clasico again. That would be sick.
Yeah.
I would love to see G2 versus Budget G2 in the finals. That would be a sick
That would be crazy
if Mad made it. Yeah.
I was gonna say a team that was on everybody's F tier in their preseason tier list. Imagine if they make it to the winter final. That'd be crazy.
That would be quite the upset. I was just going to say that I feel like it would actually be more entertaining to see Fnatic or Mad make finals than it would to see BDS, because it seems like G2 just have BDS's number. Like, they know what BDS's strategy is every game, and they shut it down every single time they played him in winners finals earlier. So I just think that that's going to happen again.
Yeah.
I think BDS kind of has a formula that they follow, and it works against every team in the league except for G2. And I think G2 has them downloaded, and it's just going to smash them. So in some ways, I think it'll be more interesting to watch. I mean, Fnatic already took a game off G2 at the start. I've lost faith in Fnatic, and I have more faith in G2. So I think if there's a rematch, I think G2 might 3-0 them still. I think they're going to 3-0 any team, but I think it might be more entertaining to watch a Fnatic or a Mad play them than it would be to watch BDS.
Yeah, I think Mad versus G2 would be super fun to watch. I mean, BB versus Mirwin in the top lane. Imagine some of the picks that we'd see.
Yeah,
like, that'd be pretty sick.
The flexes.
Oh yeah, like even for Scowie and Caps, like those guys are pulling out crazy picks too. So I mean, that'd be sick.
For Scowie is actually like doing damage now. I didn't have a lot of faith in him before, but he's, I don't know, that Talia game, I was like, okay, I was wrong. That's my bad. This guy's kind of nuts.
Yeah,
that's my bad.
Oh yeah, I think it's definitely gonna be a fun weekend. Obviously, we have Fnatic versus Mad on Saturday, right? I think it's Saturday.
Fnatic versus Mad apparently is on Friday.
Oh, okay.
And then BDS plays the winner of that game on Saturday, and then G2 is waiting in the finals on Sunday.
Got it. Okay. So grand finals are Sunday. So
yeah,
I think it's going to be a really fun weekend.
I think so
too.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm stoked. And then the winner of G2 versus whoever lock MSI. They're the earliest team to lock MSI. So that'll be kind of cool.
Yeah. We'll have our first team out there.
Man, we're going to start talking about MSI pretty soon, huh?
I know.
A couple weeks.
That's going to be so fun, dude. I'm looking forward to that.
Man. Yeah. We'll have to make some videos going into MSI talking about who our picks are.
100%.
I think that'd be fun.
Yeah. I want to talk about the LCS really quick because I think this league is looking unreal right now. It's super entertaining.
It's so fun to watch.
Yeah. Of course, the live patch, we got to see Smolder this weekend.
Yeah.
That was super cool. We saw it first. It was IMT versus Dig. I think it was
Tomo played it.
Yeah. When it scales up, Smolder looks broken too. But when he doesn't, he does not look relevant at all.
He looks like a pea shooter.
Yeah.
That guy does nothing.
Yeah. It's hard to find that medium. I guess it's kind of like a Draven pick, maybe. I don't know. Like someone that like a pick that definitely has to get ahead.
Reverse.
Yeah. Yeah. But
I don't know.
That was really cool seeing that for the first time.
Yeah.
I thought IMT looked pretty solid throughout that whole game, but Dig just came out and smolder diffed.
Just smoldered it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so interesting to see this LCS league because there was a situation, I don't know if you were following this, but on Sunday, there was a chance that we would end with two teams tied for first and then 6 teams all tied at 4 and 5.
Oh, wow.
Like that was a real situation that could have happened. It didn't, thankfully. Because I don't remember exactly how it worked out, but FlyQuest is in sole possession of first, and then 100 Thieves is in second, which we should definitely talk about.
Yeah, and then TL.
TL in third, and then there's 3 teams in fourth, and then 2 in fifth, or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's NRG, C9, and Dig, and then IMT, Shopify.
Yeah, but I mean, like the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The bottom 6 teams are all within 2 games of each other, and the bottom 5 teams are all within 1 game.
Yeah,
like the lowest number of wins you have is 3, like 3 and 6. That's crazy.
Yeah, and every game it feels like anyone can beat anyone, which is what's really awesome. Like even FlyQuest lost this weekend to Shopify Rebellion, the Giant Slayers.
Dude, like they only beat top teams. They beat FlyQuest in first, they beat Cloud9, and they beat NRG, right?
Yeah.
Like they're the new CLG kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. That like we talked about them last week. Same thing, Giant Slayers, but they did it again. So
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of them. They can't beat teams that are slightly above them. They can only beat the teams that are miles above them, which is I don't know what to make of that.
You got to wonder what that is, because it's kind of like the Carmine Corp in their last weekend. They were like 0-7 or something, and then in their last weekend they went 1-2, or they were 0-6, I guess, and then the last weekend they went 2-1. Sorry,
Yeah.
They won 2 games after they had already been like mathematically out of playoffs. They came in and they just won 2 games in a row, and it's like probably because they've got nothing to lose at that point, so they might as well just like win, I guess. I don't know, but it feels like the same thing with Shopify, where it's like if there's any close match, they're just going to lose. But if they feel like there's no shot against the top team, they just win. I don't know. It's so bizarre.
It's like their players only come to play when it's a big name team or like the top team. I don't know. Like I thought Boogie looked really good against against FlyQuest. Like he looked unreal. Yeah. And I don't know, they just feel like a more complete team, I guess, against these better teams, which is weird to say. It seems like that should never be happening, but here we are.
I know. Yeah, I thought in their fly game, Boogie on the Wukong, I actually liked the Wukong pick. I thought that was good. I don't know why it's not played as much. I'm not a player, so I'm not even going to speculate. But I thought it looked good. And then I thought Zazel had a monster game too. I was looking at my notes again, and I know like B-Boy had a fair amount of kills, but I really thought that like the reason that Shopify won that game was because of Boogie and Zazel.
They played Zyra Khan that game. Yeah, I think like that pick is just way more comfortable because FlyQuest is also first time in Smolder.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, so I know Masu was on Smolder, and he just could not get scaled up.
No.
So
it was the pea shooter, man.
Yeah.
It was just like tapping at him, and then they would just blow him up in one hit. So
yeah, I think that Smolder pick is one where you have to like be searching for these team fights and these skirmishes so you can stack, because otherwise you're just not gonna be able to get your stacks just by farming. Like you want those skirmishes. Like you want a game like the Fnatic SK games earlier, where it's just straight action all the time.
Just perma fighting.
Yeah. But if you can't get scaled up, it's tough. And that was like the first time we saw that.
Yeah. I wonder if that's why they picked the Blitzcrank, is because they wanted to like have agency to pick fights and like help the Smolder scale up. It just didn't work.
Yeah. And it was interesting because we saw that was like the same day as the IMT Dig game. So I thought, oh, like Smolder's gonna smash again. And then it just looks like nothing. So I don't know.
You see both sides of the coin.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting. But Dig, like going back to that, Dig also had a 2-0 weekend. One was that Smolder game, and then they beat NRG as well, and that honestly didn't look like a close game either. I don't know what's happening, but
NRG is on a 4-game loss streak, 5-game loss streak. No, 4, right? Yeah,
I think it's 4.
They're on a 4-game loss streak, which is crazy. They haven't won a game in 2 weeks.
I don't know.
Yeah,
like Dig honestly looks pretty good. Like
they do.
They look
even for being 4 and 5.
Yeah.
You want to hear something interesting about Dig's 2-0 weekend? One of the players was talking about it. I think it was XU had like the post-game interview after their 2-0 weekend, and he was saying that one of his managers was talking to him and said he had a memory come up on his phone or something like that from the last time that they had a 2-0 weekend 6 years ago.
6 years ago, holy cow!
So I don't know. I haven't fact checked this, but what he was saying in the post game interview is that Dig hasn't had a 2-0 weekend in 6 years.
Holy cow!
Isn't that insane?
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching the LCS last year and the year before, and Dig was just perennially at the bottom.
They're just bottom feeders, usually.
But maybe it's a new year. They have a lot of imports this year. Like Rich looks really good. Dove. Right? They have Dove.
Yeah, Dove's been nice.
Yeah. And then Isles. Isles is, I think he has the highest KDA in all of LCS right now.
Really? I didn't know that.
I was looking at some of the stats and I was like, who's this Isles guy? So I clicked on it. It's like Dignitas. And I was like, what?
Yeah. He's been kind of flying under the radar.
Yeah, for sure. That whole team, I feel like, is kind of flying under the radar.
Yeah. I
Like,
think people are kind of sleeping on XU too, because there
mhm.
hasn't been a whole lot of talk about him, other than the fact that like the LCS keeps bringing up that he like last year XU was talking with the management a lot and like watching all the games. Like they've brought up this fact like 5 times that
Uh-huh.
XU was like watching the main team like all of last year. I don't know why they keep bringing it up, but they've brought it up like every time he's on screen. But in terms of like real conversation about him as a player, there hasn't been a whole lot. And I was looking at their IMT versus Dig game, and he had 100% kill participation in that game.
Oh, really?
I don't know exactly what his stats are off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure he's one of the junglers who has like some of the higher kill percentage,
Oh, wow.
or kill participation percentage in the
Mhm.
league. So he's like flying under the radar as one of these junglers who's actually making a lot happen for Dig.
Yeah, I feel like as a team, they move quicker than everybody else. Like,
Oh, interesting.
yeah, that was the one thing that I kind of took away from their 2 games. Like, whenever they have number advantages, they'll take it, and they're like the first ones there. And that's like we said earlier, it's a game of microseconds and micro decisions. But they're really good at being on the same page. I know against NRG, they had a Dove got picked off by Contracts, topside river, and the whole team just collapsed. Like they had a number advantage still, even after Dove got picked off, and it led to them winning that fight straight up, just because they had all their guys rotated into that Baron area, while Dokla and FBI were just farming mid and bot.
Yeah, they kind of stomped that game, huh?
Yeah, they did. They did. And I think that's like the biggest thing for them. Like they're really good as a team and moving together as a team and knowing like where their weak points are going to be and where teams might be targeting them. And they always have backup. And so they're able to find the number advantages throughout that.
I'll have to look out for that because I haven't been watching Dig that closely. Like, you know, I tend to focus on like watching closely the teams that I think are going to be the top teams, and I wasn't expecting a lot out of Dig, so I haven't watched them that closely.
Yeah.
But I think you're right that they're like low key better than I expected. I mean, not even low key. They're definitely better than I expected. They're definitely more of a contender than I expected, and I'll start watching them a little bit closer for that because but what I remember of that Dig versus NRG game is that they actually like smoked them. Like it wasn't even a close game at all.
Yeah,
it was just like Dig winning from the start to the end. So maybe I'll have to watch them a little bit closer now.
Yeah, because like that doesn't just happen, you know. Like those leads don't just get built without nothing. It's because like I thought it was because they're able to roam so well and back each other up.
Yeah,
I don't know. We'll see how those guys are moving forward. But another team that's super good at moving around and staying together as a team is 100 Thieves.
100 Thieves,
goodness,
baby.
100 Thieves.
Woo!
That is the Quid show and the Sniper show. Honestly, all of them. And the Rivers show. Like, they're all unreal.
Okay, so Sniper is awesome to watch. He's so fun to watch. But Quid is him, bro.
Oh,
he's actually him. I was not impressed by this guy at all last year. He comes into the league this year. He is stomping people.
Oh yeah.
He was player of the week this week. He like 100% deserved it. He's actually he's smurfing on the league right now. He's actually just him.
I mean, you're not just Genji Academy for no reason.
I guess so. Yeah.
But yeah, he was smurfing this weekend. He looked unreal.
Been really impressed by him this weekend. His Talia game against TL, super good. And then what was their other game? Versus C9.
That was another banger. I think he also played Talia in that game too.
He did, yeah. 2 absolute like amazing Talia games.
Yeah, I think 100 Thieves, they're able to win their lanes early on. Their mid game is a little questionable, but then late, they're really good. Like I think their ability as a team to like not get tilted during that mid game it's huge, and they're able to split teams really well too. That's like another thing that I noticed. Like I know against I think it was TL, like Sniper was flanking, and he basically drew the attention of Yon, APA, and Core, and it was like Umpty and Impact just left alone with 4 guys on them. There's a 4v2 with a 3v1 down on the bottom side, and it was like there's nothing that they could do, and then they just cleaned up the entire fight.
Yeah, the thing that like impresses me so much about Sniper is that it's not just that he has like these really impressive mechanical plays, because this weekend he solo killed both Impact and Fudge as Aatrox, which was just super fun to watch. I think he's the solo kill leader in the league right now. He has like 5 solo kills or something like that, which I guess puts him as the leader. They said something about that on broadcast, but it's not just that he has these like really flashy solo kill mechanical outplays, but he also seems to get like trying to separate the back line from the front line in fights and like zoning out the carries. Like I can't name how many times this weekend he would come into a team fight like on a flank and just get onto the back line of the other team and completely remove them from the fight while the rest of his team like dealt with like the front line carries. Like, but it was like every fight he was coming in and doing this, which to me, it doesn't strike me as something that like a new player normally does. So it's really cool to watch.
Yeah. Sniper's been looking really good, especially on that Aatrox.
Man, what a fun team they are. And like they're another team that's kind of, they're not like the mad of LCS because the teams are not the same at all, but it's a similar thing where like they're power ranked super low to start off the split, and now they're just like at the top. I mean, Mad is in 4th and they're in 2nd, but they were power ranked as like bottom 2 by pretty much everyone, and now they're sole possession of 2nd, like convincingly.
Yeah, they look like they're having fun too. It's like it's a really young team, you know. Like Meech and Sniper are super young. Quid's young himself. Like River's definitely the oldest one on that team, and he's not even that old.
No.
Right? So
yeah,
like after they win games, they just look super happy. Like they look good as a team, both on and off the Rift, you know? And I think that's huge for the morale of the team.
They've got a pretty cool like rivalry with TL now too. It feels like I don't know if it's just like the desk, the LCS desk, like setting it up, but it feels like there's this TL versus 100 Thieves like rivalry setting up, which is really fun to keep track of, especially with the 100 Thieves beating them this last game.
It feels like anytime those two teams play, it's a coin flip, you know? Like something's happening in both those games that they've played where it's just super entertaining, just fun to watch. And like both teams want it, you know?
Yeah. But super fun team.
Yeah. I mean, that game against Cloud9, that was probably the banger of the week, or one of the bangers of the week.
We got to talk about Cloud9. We got to talk about FlyQuest. Do you want to start with Cloud9?
Yeah, I'm down to start with Cloud9. I thought that game, Berserker, Pentakill, and they lose. Like, what?
I know. So, first of all, Cloud9 finally getting a win, breaking the loss streak. God bless.
Monkey off the back.
God.
Thank
God that they got a win. Yeah. But, I mean, 100 Thieves versus Cloud9 was absolutely the game of the week for me. That was such a banger of a game. It really seems like Cloud9, like just from like the comms that they showed during the broadcast, I'm like worried that team is not getting along because Berserker seems super out of it. There's like a few times in their last couple games where it seems like he's disconnected from the rest of the team, and he does this thing where he'll go into a team fight that's like in a lane or like in the jungle, and he'll start farming in the middle of the team fight, which is like, I know you like have to clear minions at the same time as you're fighting, but there'll be times where like the rest of the team is like hitting other people and he's just like farming a wave in the middle of the team fight. And it's just like this really weird thing where he seems not fully like committed. He just like is kind of there. Even with like his Zeri pentakill, it was really cool to see, but he doesn't feel like back mentally in the way that I was wishing he would be, you know?
Yeah, like he should be an X Factor player. Like that's kind of the way that I see him, at least going into this split. He is like an X Factor player is probably the best way I could describe him. Like he can win games if you get him going.
Right, like by himself. Yeah.
Yeah. But he had a pentakill. He was massively ahead in that game. And they just couldn't pull it. Like I think he got picked off by Sniper, and that like almost ended. Well, that basically screwed them over. Pretty heavy. But,
it just seems like they're not like communicating in like a super effective way. And one of the comms too, Blabber was like scolding JoJo because he was like watching Berserker's pentakill instead of like helping push a wave or something like that. Blabber said something like Jojo, what are you doing? And Jojo was like, oh, I was just watching Berserker's penta, but like he was still alive, so he was just like not really doing anything on the map, just kind of watching Berserker get like the last kill of his penta. So I don't know, it just feels like the team is kind of butting heads with each other and maybe not getting along as well as I was expecting them to. It could just be like a comms thing in a game, but I'm worried that it's a communication thing that's making it difficult for this team.
Yeah. I think Jojo had a few like moments in that game too on his Akali, you know, like where he would kind of just run in there and get blown up. I don't know. It feels, we were going back to how they drafted, right? And how it used to be Blabber and Jojo were like the focus carries, and Berserker was kind of like on the back foot. But it feels like their drafts just aren't good for winning games or like closing games out. I don't know all the details behind drafting and like what's good and what's not, but it just feels like they're not, like you said, maybe not on the same page together as a team, kind of like butting heads potentially.
Yeah, because Blabber had 2 Sejuani games this weekend, so he's back on. He's continuing to play on tank duty. They won one of the Sejuani games, but in the Sejuani game that they won against NRG, first of all, NRG is hard loss streaking, but also Blabber was like playing like a Chad on Sejuani. Like he wasn't playing Sejuani like a tank jungler in the same way that other teams play it. Like he was just taking kills and just like running in and getting picks, and like he was playing Sejuani in like a way more aggressive way than I expect. And I don't remember exactly what his scoreline was, but it just struck me during the game that he was like taking way more kills than I would expect another jungler to on Sejuani. So I don't know, it still feels like the way that C9 wins is through just letting Blabber be Blabber and be super aggressive and get kills and carry and work with Jojo. And instead they're trying to force Berserker to solo carry games, and he's not.
Yeah. Berserker definitely seems just off, like really off this split. I don't know if he's missing Sven at all.
Or, I don't know. Yeah, because they seem to get along well.
Yeah, like I don't know what's up with that, but yeah, Berserker just looks really passive, doesn't look like a top ADC even, you know?
No, I think you're right. I think passive is a good way to put it.
Yeah. Like usually you expect Berserker to be, you know, running in there, carrying team fights and knocking everybody off. But instead,
he's just not.
He did do that, but like right place, wrong time, I guess.
Yeah.
Know? So
I wonder if it's, we don't have to keep speculating about this because obviously neither of us knows, but just real quick, I wonder if it's like a confidence thing. I wonder if Sven struck me as like a really like senior, that's a bad way of putting it. He's not old, but he was like a veteran. That's what I'm trying to think of. Like a very veteran presence in the team. I think if memory serves, like he would help the whole team on a lot of calls. Like he was pretty vocal, and I'm not sure Vulcan is like a leader in the team in the same way that Sven was. And I wonder if the Sven Berserker lane worked so well because Sven gave Berserker the confidence to be this like pop-off player that he can be. And I wonder if it's not working as well with Vulcan because Vulcan is not as much of a leader in the team and not as like communicative as Sven would be. I have obviously no idea. I have no connection to these teams, but I wonder if there's something like that where Sven was just like giving Berserker a confidence boost.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, you look at the past 2 years and then this split, there's only one difference.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're able to get by with Eminence in the mid lane, you know?
Yeah.
So,
which was probably a nightmare.
Yeah. So, I mean, who knows? We don't have to keep speculating about it, but
no.
FlyQuest honestly I think they look solid.
Yeah. I think it's going to be Masu and Sniper competing for Rookie of the Split. Masu still looks insane. I don't know how Shopify Rebellion keeps beating these top teams, but outside of that, FlyQuest look like monsters.
Yeah, they look like a complete team for sure. I think Bwipo instills so much confidence in those young guys because that is such a young team. Bwipo and Inspired. Like,
dude, Inspired, like he comes off a break and he's like back to MVP material again.
Yeah.
He had another quadra. Like I thought he was going to get another Viego Penta. I was like, what is going? This guy just comes in and destroys the league. I think he's just the best jungler in the league right now.
Yeah.
Like coming off of, I think it was like one split of not being on team. Maybe it was a full year. I think it was just one split.
I think it was one
comes
split.
Off of, he comes off a break and he's back to absolutely stomping the league. This guy's insane.
Yeah. He looks really good. That whole team just looks so confident too. I think that's like the biggest thing for them is their confidence is probably unrivaled right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like again, we don't have too much insight on the behind the scenes, but from a viewer standpoint, like they just look decisive in their plays. Like they know what they want to do. They know what their win cons are and what they have to do to reach that win con. And I think Whippo is probably a really big part of that. Just because he is a veteran presence.
Very
that's
opinionated and like and he like knows how he wants to play the game.
Exactly. And everyone else can kind of just fall into that, which is huge for them.
We're seeing this formula again of like 3 veteran players and 2 rookies. I know Busio has had a splitter a year or whatever it is under his belt, but we're seeing this formula again of like 3 veteran players and a couple newer players work out really well. It's even after some of these players have come off breaks, it's still, this team is just like meshing so well together. And they're another team like 100 Thieves where it seems like they're just having a lot of fun too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think that's probably the biggest thing right now for these guys too, because they're only playing twice a week. If you can make those stage games super fun and then spend the rest of the week, you know, as a team, I'm sure that they're doing a lot of really good things behind the scenes as a team to kind of build up that chem, build up that morale for sure. Who's their mid laner?
Jensen.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So they got a solid squad. They're probably going to end up finishing first, I think.
I would think so. Yeah. And it's a team that's fun to root for too, because it's a couple players like having their comeback, which is like in Whippo and Inspired, where it feels criminal that they didn't have teams before. Then you have Jensen, who, love him or hate him, he's going to be a top player in the league pretty much every split. It's super early, but I would bet that this team is going to go to Worlds this year. So it would mean Jensen has only ever missed Worlds when he played on Dig last year. So it's cool to see that he'll probably end up going back to Worlds. Again, super early speculation. But yeah, it's just a really fun team to watch with like Whippo and Inspired coming back, and then Jensen having a bit of a redemption year, and then these 2 rookies coming in who are like stomping lanes as well.
They're killing it for sure. They're fun to watch too, because the mechanics are just unreal. I'm like, how do you even do that? I'm looking at some of the things that they do, and I'm like, I wish. I can only dream.
It's cool to see Busio play because he started out as a mid laner and then he role swapped to support. I don't know when exactly it happened, but they've brought it up on cast a couple times. And you can kind of tell because he doesn't play. I expect support players to kind of play passively in some situations, but he plays like in this confident, like mid laner-esque way sometimes. That's really fun to watch.
Like if he knows that in the 2v2 they can get a kill, like he's sending it.
He's going for it.
I know Masu's right on board with that too.
Super aggressive. Very fun team to watch.
Yeah, super fun. Speaking of fun teams to watch, I want to take us east actually.
Okay.
And I want to go to the LPL. I know LPL and LCK, they were both on break for Lunar New Year. So LCK comes back this Wednesday, so tonight when the podcast drops.
Right.
And then LPL comes back on the 17th. But they're on this super long break. But there were some games.
Oh,
yeah. There are some games that happened after we recorded last week's pod. And Top Esports, man. These guys are unreal, bro. They are so fun to watch.
Like, who did they just play? And they like dumpstered some team, right? I watched part of the game. I don't even remember who it was, though.
They played Weibo.
They dumpstered Weibo.
Yeah, so actually, game 1 they dumpstered them like super hard. Jackie was on Ezreal, but then game 2 actually Weibo is winning for most of the game.
That's right.
Yeah, like Weibo probably should have taken it to 3 games, but the biggest thing is they're such a complete team. They have I don't think that they have any bad pieces. Like everybody's really good. Maybe you could argue that Cream isn't to the level of everybody else, but he doesn't have to be because
I don't know, man. I think Cream is crazy. I was watching some of his games. I think Cream actually looks really good. I think it's cool seeing him on a top team.
Yeah, well then there you go. Like I thought like so obviously I think Mako is the final piece for Jackie Love.
Right.
I think between Jackie, Mako, and Tien, like their synergy is super good. Like it shows in all their macro plays. Like Tien will always be there on the right timers, and then Mako will always set Jackie Love up. Like Jackie Love just has the ability to carry games because Mako and Tien are like spoon feeding him kills. But they're not exactly spoon feeding him kills because he also has to put in the work to get these kills. But it is
Yeah.
Jackie Love, and he's able to do it. And they're just so good at pushing their leads. Like every lane is winning in game one. There's nothing Weibo could do. And then like in that second game, Weibo was ahead, but then 369 comes and hard carries the game. It's like if Jackie Love or Jackie Love and Mako are out of it, like 369 is going to be the guy, or Cream's going to be that guy, or even Tien's really like a setup guy. He's not usually like a carry jungler for them, but yeah, those guys
They've
are
got that,
super
like,
fun to watch.
Yeah, they have that like JDG-esque feel from last year
Mhm.
where you expect them to carry out of one lane, and then if that doesn't work out, they still can carry from any other lane too.
Yeah,
Because it's like they don't really have like a super weak spot, it feels like.
Oh yeah, because it felt like Weibo was trying to shut Jackie Love down in game two, and it's like, okay, we'll come do that, and 369 will just carry the rest of the game then.
Oh yeah, and then we just have one of the best top laners in the entire world, and he'll just win the game for us instead.
Yeah, exactly. Like they were down in that game too, a ton of kills. They were down a soul, and then 369 just comes with his equalizer or something, whatever is ours, and him, Kareem, and Tien 3v4'd pretty much all the carries of Weibo, and then from there on, it was top esports this game.
Yeah,
but yeah, IG too. I know we touched on IG last week a little bit, but IG is actually a really complete team too. I'm eating my own words from last week. How I was like, yeah, maybe IG isn't the best team. I think they might be in that top 5 conversation.
Really?
Yeah. So they played RNG and they lost game 1, but then they reverse swept. But they just look like such a good team. They're team fighting on another level. Like probably like almost T1-esque.
Wow.
Yeah. Like they're just getting clean aces. It was a while ago when I watched it, but like You Should Know Me might be one of the best top laners in the LPL as well.
Okay, I was going to ask about that. Is he playing again? Because I think he got subbed out like last year for a little bit.
Yeah,
maybe
he did for a little bit, and now he is their guy for sure.
He has one of the best names.
I know. When he came out
cool.
with his, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
well,
so steez.
That's high praise saying that they fight like T1 does.
Dude, it's crazy. Like I don't know. It feels like fights that they're almost getting trapped into. They come out with like 3 or 4 guys up. So
it'd be sick to see them play T1 at Worlds if that happens.
Yeah. I mean, IG it's a prestigious organization. They have a Worlds title under their belt, So who knows? This might be their year to make some waves internationally, or even domestically.
They have some cool world skins too. The IG world skins are sick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I said last week that they needed a better test, and I thought RNG was, that's a solid test, and they looked really good against them.
That's sick.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how they do the rest.
They play BLG next Tuesday, so watch out for that.
So they're going to be 4-2.
Probably, because BLG is them. They stomped LNG as well. And I don't know, Scout might be washed, as much as it hurts me to say that, because I love Scout.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he has not been looking really good. And obviously when your best player is not looking too good, the whole team doesn't look good. So I don't know.
LNG just looks so good on paper, but I mean, they have Gala too. Gala's insane. Weiwei, even Zico was playing insane last year too.
Yeah. No, they just seem like they're not on the same page, or like maybe this just isn't their meta. I don't know. But LNG is not them, and BLG is definitely them. They're frauds, yeah. LNG is definitely frauds right now. Who knows? We'll see how they do this week. I think they play Weibo, so
Okay.
that'll be a good test for them. But
So
other
some
than
more
that,
good games coming up.
yeah. Other than that, like there are some really good games this week in the LCK coming off this break. T1 plays D+ on Wednesday night, so
That's a
that'll be
good
fun
game.
to watch. And
Yep.
then Genji also plays Honor Life on the next day.
Oh, that'll be a banger.
Yeah. So finally we're getting the rematch, or like the first look of
Yeah.
Genji versus ex-Genji.
Genji original versus Genji new.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Samsung White and Samsung Blue or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. They're just sister teams, but
Yeah.
that's funny. Well, cool.
Yeah.
We got
I don't have too
some
much
good
else to
games
say.
coming up.
Yeah.
No, me neither.
But
yeah,
I'm really excited for this week. I'm excited that the LCK and LPL are coming back.
Yeah.
Because I've missed them
it's
all.
kind of
They're
gonna be
on
like
break.
a bit of a switch, you know, go from only LCS and LEC to a week off for the LCS and some more LCK and LPL games.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Thank you guys for watching episode 5 of All Chat. As always, you can find us on all of our social media platforms. We're on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and pretty much any podcasting platform that you can think of. You can find us at AllChatLOL. And we'll be back next week for another week of fan takes about all 4 major regions.
TP from Niski! TP from Niski! That TP sucks!